Montgomery County Council voting to approve several pieces of legislation today, including the University Corridor Boulevard Plan. Now, this one will allow for a new range of residential housing options along the busy 3-mile stretch in Silver Spring. The plan also lets single-family homeowners convert their houses into duplexes or even triplexes, and will allow for enhancements like new bike lanes, wider sidewalks, also improved bus stops. Now, the council also passing the HERO Act, which will expand existing survivor benefits so that spouses of children of firefighters who die in the line of duty can receive the equivalent of a 20-year pension regardless of just how long they served. And also introduced today, the Trust Act. Now, this would help prevent discrimination against immigrants in the country. It also limits how much the county will help with federal immigration enforcement. County Executive Mark Elrich says that enforcement is keeping some people in a state of fear.
There's increased fear within the immigrant community that's driving many people away from community engagements, and in some cases towards self-deportation. There is no way for anyone in our community to live. This is just not the way that people should be treated, particularly when almost everybody that ICE is arresting are people with no criminal records.
A public hearing on the Trust Act is set to happen next month.
In Fairfax County, polls close in less than 3 hours in a special election for an open seat on the Board of Supervisors. 3 candidates running for the Braddock District seat to replace James Walkinshaw, who recently won a seat in Congress. Democrat School Board member Rachna Sizemore-Heisner, Republican Community Leader Ken Balbuena, and independent veteran Kerry Campbell are all running. The district represents 29 precincts in the central part of the county. Polls are open until 7.
New at 4, leaders in Fairfax County making it real clear that they oppose a casino in Tysons. It has been a big, hotly debated issue for years, and now county leaders are taking a firm position. Fox 5's Homa Bash joins us live from Tysons tonight with new details. Homa?
Angie, good evening. This is where that proposed casino would go, right near the Spring Hill Metro Station. And today, Fairfax County Board of Supervisors voting 5-4 to add an amendment that basically says they do not want a casino here.
Tysons is our economic engine. We have a lot of activity, economic activity already in Tysons. We have very ambitious growth and development plans in Tysons, and it's not the right place for a casino.
Now, this was the first time that the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors voted to include language in their state legislative program to oppose a casino in Tysons. The plan first came up in 2023, and it would include an entertainment district with restaurants, hotel, and shopping. The casino would be roughly 200,000 square feet near the Spring Hill Silver Line Metro Station. Those in favor of the plan have promised significant tax revenue and jobs, but there's been a very vocal group of Fairfax County residents, business owners, and community leaders who have opposed the casino. The Tyson Stakeholder Alliance telling Fox 5 they hope the concerns raised today and the clear opposition from the Tysons community continue to shape the conversation in Richmond as policymakers consider any potential casino proposal.
Yeah, I don't know. The traffic would be very bad.
My thoughts are that casino does not belong at Tysons.
Why not?
Because they always say the casinos bringing more business to the local places, but the business is inside the casino as far as the food and stuff. The people around the casino don't benefit at all by a casino.
Now, the Virginia General Assembly session starts on January 14th. Right now, no casino legislation has been introduced, but leaders do believe that it will come up once again. Guys.
Homa, thank you so much. Okay, let's go ahead. Pick up
some top caught on camera moments here.
To California. I know this is really scary. I mean, talk about heart pounding and heart stopping all at once.
Look at those flames.
A fire rescue in California. Take a look at the video here. What you see is there's a tree. It caught on fire, went up in flames. A little girl, 7 years old, she escaped. She came out though, was frozen in fear, and you cannot. Look at that. You cannot blame her, right? You never know how you're going to act in a situation like. So she just stood there. She stood there, and he ran through the embers. He ran through the flames. He was an off-duty paramedic, and he was able to rescue her just in the nick of time. Her mom has come out and said he's the reason she's alive today, without a doubt, because nobody else was going in like that. He was just a neighbor, off-duty paramedic, right next door.
Right place at the right time.
Holy moly.
Thank goodness.
Take a look at this. Another fiery rescue. This one, guys, in Washington State after a pickup truck crashed into a tree. Now, the truck was fully engulfed, and the driver was trapped inside and unresponsive. 2 deputies used fire extinguishers to stop the fire from spreading, and a police sergeant broke the window, unbuckled that driver, and pulled him out to safety. Wow.
Again, being at the right place at the right time, and when duty calls, they're there.
Now, was the person unconscious in there?
Yeah.
Unresponsive,
oh,
yeah.
My
Looks like it.
goodness.
Passed
So
out.
scary. Okay, well, we are going to take you across the pond. I don't
Ooh.
really have a good accent. I'm not
No,
trying.
it's across the pond.
I know.
Like that.
It always sounds Korean, no matter however I
That's
try
all right.
to
Don't worry
come
about
out
that.
with it.
Keep it moving.
Okay, special grocery delivery here on the coast of England. Shipping containers carrying mostly bananas. Bananas.
Ooh.
I can speak minion. Washed ashore. The English Coast Guard says that 16 containers fell off that cargo ship. This was Saturday. 11 of them washed up there at the UK or the borders of the UK or England.
I
And
saw
so
that,
you got
I'd
a lot of
be-
bananas on the.
I'd be going bananas if I saw all those bananas just washing ashore.
Do they
man.
float, though?
I don't know.
Good
You
question.
think they'd sink and it'd be like end of story. The fish would have a lot of
Yeah.
bananas. Okay.
But
that's what we
Banana
call
bread for
banana boat.
everybody. So to come in trending, a new social media trend rising amongst Gen Z. But one thing is focusing on less posting instead of more.
And later, U.S. Park Police under fire by lawmakers, and tonight they're pushing back.
The man behind a bizarre scheme to steal thousands of dollars in Pokemon cards enters a new plea in court. The latest details from the judge.
And the cold is going nowhere, as today, despite that sunshine, it feels bitter outside. We'll see more cold and a couple chances for snow showing up on that 7-day forecast. Stay tuned. We'll take a look after the break.
King Cole, and get a bit of my glow. I got charm like a leprechaun, mama. Now y'all with the rum, mama. GP like a dumb, mama. And we
Okay, time now to take a look at what we're buzzing about today.
Hey,
and
guys.
you said there's some new trends. There's always something new. We got to keep up.
And this is something that, adults do as well. Go ahead.
A new trend on social media called posting zero. People keeping the apps but never posting and just browsing their feed. Some say it's popular because posting online is feeling like work and they're feeling burnt out. Others say they like the trend because it can create a bubble of mystery around life by choosing silence over oversharing. This is me. I'm not putting anything on there. You don't need to know what I'm doing, where I'm at, or, you know, I mean, if it's work related, that's fine. And I think that much of the component of what we do in media is work surrounded. But like my life, nobody else's.
But there are some people on social media, they don't post, they just look to see what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Creepers,
right?
If I'm bored, I don't think you have to be a creeper. I think you're just like, you're fine with what other people are posting. You're interested in it. You don't mind scrolling, but you don't feel compelled to share about your own life.
True.
If you got 50 lines up there on the story.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes the stories can be out of control.
It's so true.
Unless it's a captivating story. You know, I have been hooked on some things where I'm like, I want to see what's next. But, you know, my whole thing is like, you know, shoot now. And I mean, it'll be a couple weeks before I post some things that happen, you know. And, yeah, I mean, I still didn't post my other daughter's birthday from over a year ago. I realized, like, you know, she had a really cool
she got left out?
Yeah, no, well,
Little Bryn?
I mean, no, this was the other one, Adora, yeah.
Adora.
But do you feel like if you post about one kid, you kind of have to post about them all?
No, I mean, well, now it's at the point as they get older where, you know, I actually ask them, I'm like, do you know, are you okay
Do you
with
need
this?
their approval?
Or do you want, you know, and they let me know, you know, so it's a different, we're all learning,
different time.
I guess. But.
Yeah, for sure. I would be fine without them. So do away with the Instagrams we can. After doing all the holiday shopping, parents are now turning to the next big task, finding a place to hide everything. Tucker research asking parents where they hide their children's gifts. Many say they hide them in closets, bedrooms, cars, basements, garages, you name it, get creative. Even at a friend's house, which seems aggressive, or in a suitcase, at work in some places. Parents buy fake gifts to confuse the kids. Okay, we're not doing that. About half of parents hide gifts so well they forget where they put them. Wow. Some even buy the same gift twice because they can't find it.
Yep, same. I found one two from 2021 today. Because we're getting our closets done, so I had to clean everything out. And I was like,
that's what it was.
21.
That's hilarious.
What was it?
It's these sun catchers that were personalized. By the way, in a personalized gift with the year, that's how I knew it was 2021.
Oh, it says 2021.
Yeah, and it had like their sign. So he had Gemini, she had, you know, Sagittarius. I mean, I didn't even have another kid back then. Like,
But here's the deal. Any of you and any of you viewers out there, you can come hide your gifts in my house. I charge, what, $5 a day?
Oh, really? Okay, storage. That's cheaper than
storage is hard. You know, I feel like we all maximize the storage that we have. So when you throw in all these gifts that you need to put somewhere, like that is
I got plenty of room. Come on over.
Didn't you do that?
Drop them off.
You could like unwrap. I was so skilled. I would unwrap them and then wrap them back.
I would feel it to see what was in there.
Oh, is that serious? Wow. Okay, that's smart.
But the kid's so young now that I'm wrapping it. They're already under the tree. I'm just getting ahead of myself and like making like as soon as it comes, wrap them so it's one less thing to do.
I love that.
Nobody will know.
Santa's just got some early delivery.
Exactly.
And we just gave you guys some really good tips out there, right, y'all?
Now we all pray that Amazon and USPS is on time.
Get on time.
Did our parents do it before online shopping and delivery? I'll never know.
At least it was a thrill of going to the store and like it gave you something to do on days like today where you can't even go outside.
Where it is really cold outside.
Yeah, we're fully in like indoor only weather. My God.
Where's the hand warmers, you know? These fingers feel like little icicles.
Good stocking stuff.
We're at the frostbitten phase now. So cover any exposed skin if you're going to be outside. Cold, cold day. It was nice to have the sunshine back, but it did very little to warm us up. This morning was our coldest morning yet here in the metro. And in fact, our coldest morning in D.C. since last winter. We fell to a low of 20 degrees. Everybody else started off pretty much in the teens. We've made it up to 32 degrees in Washington. South winds at 10 miles an hour. But with that wind chill, it feels like 24. And those wind chills were so bitter this morning, too. Temperatures elsewhere, you're looking at 32 in Baltimore, 30 in Westminster and Frederick, 31 in Martinsburg, 32 in Culpeper, and 35 in Leonardtown. With those wind chills, again, really only in the 20s. As we look at satellite and radar, just a little bit of cloud cover, especially down to the south. Gosh, good snowpack. Richmond and points southward, up to 7 inches of snow fell in southern Virginia yesterday. Amazing. That was our second snow event in a week, and that was a big one. That was a snowstorm. We've got a couple areas of snow off to our north, one over the Great Lakes that will pass north and east of the Mid-Atlantic. A secondary one over the Twin Cities. They're getting some snow right now. That Clipper system will come by tomorrow, but with a warm front pushing through tonight, we are going to see temperatures rise above freezing, and we're only looking at a rain shower chance for your Wednesday. So here's tonight. We cloud up. A few showers are possible during the day, and then snow will get going out along the Allegheny front where they are under winter storm watches, even some blizzard warnings for the highest elevations. By Friday, we're pretty much done with anything except a few flurries could move through. So we're watching that snow chance on Friday. Again, this is Wednesday. As you can see from Futurecast, the rain chances look pretty limited. Not a lot moving through, but it's a cloudy, chilly day, although temperatures will be warmer than, say, today. I mean, we're at 32 degrees right now. Temperatures are steady or rising overnight, so that we should spend all of Wednesday above freezing. There's a look at your planner. Mostly overcast, temperatures in the 40s with that passing shower possible late in the afternoon. By Thursday, we clear out again. We're reinforced with some Arctic air. It is gusty and cold with highs around 40. I'll have more on those snow chances coming up on my 7-day. Back to you.
Caitlin, thank you so much. Still to come also, new documents and materials set to be released in connection to one of Jeffrey Epstein's closest associates. The latest ruling from a judge today.
Plus, a new study showing how your brain changes at 4 key stages, right? It's really interesting. We'll tell you all about it coming up at 5.
Today, A federal judge allowing the Justice Department to publicly release grand jury testimony in the case against convicted sex offender Ghislaine Maxwell.
The judge cites a new law requiring the government to open its files on Jeffrey Epstein and his longtime confidant. Fox 5's Sharon Roger joins us now with why the judge is warning the public to temper their expectations.
Yeah, Angie, Shamari, federal judge Paul Engelmeyer says that the public should not expect to learn a lot of new information in these Maxwell documents. He says the newly unsealed grand jury and transcripts and other materials, quote, do not identify any person other than Epstein and Maxwell as having sexual contact with a minor. In other words, the documents do not identify any clients or of Epstein or Maxwell, alluding to that long alleged client list. Engelmeyer is the second judge to act after the Epstein File Transparency Act created a narrow exception to rules that normally keep grand jury proceedings secret. Last week, another federal judge ordered the release of the transcripts from an abandoned Epstein grand jury investigation in the 2000s. Now, Fox 5 spoke to Joseph Tolley, a defense attorney, who says that the release of these documents are a result of a public pressure campaign.
It's reassuring that the Congress is listening to the American people, because previously politicians and the judicial system have been fighting tooth and nail to releasing everything. But yet Congress was able to receive the pressure from American citizens, from the public, and the act got passed.
Tully tells us that the courts and Justice Department are now making sure all necessary redactions are made to protect victims and any national security concerns. Meanwhile, requests to unseal records from Epstein's 2019 sex trafficking case is pending. Maxwell is serving a 20-year sentence on sex trafficking and other charges for helping Epstein sexually abuse teenage girls. Shamari.
Thank you, Sharon. Still ahead, a new congressional push to change the name of a local traffic circle.
Also, Catherine Hoggle back in court today for day 2 of her competency hearing. Our Bob Barnard has been in the courtroom all day, and he will have the very latest coming up next.
Welcome back to Top Stories. We're following at 4:30. The Montgomery County Council today appointing Shebra Evans to fill the at-large council seat vacated by Gabe Albernas.
Evans has deep roots in the county, having served 8 years on the Board of Education, where she served twice as president and oversaw multi-billion-dollar operating and capital budgets. Her new role comes after Albernas stepped down last week and was appointed director of the Recreation Department by County Executive Mark Elrich.
Police in Prince William County arrested a woman they say assaulted a police officer. 23-year-old Fatou Jennifer Kabia from Woodbridge is charged with assault and battery and obstruction of justice after they say she hit an officer yesterday. The officer was at the home investigating a man who was allegedly making threats with a gun. Police say the officer was talking with that man when Kabia attacked the officer. She's in jail on a $5,000 bond. The officer was hurt but is expected to be okay.
A California man pleading guilty to stealing more than $50,000 worth of rare Pokemon cards. Police say Mohammed Asif broke into his friend's Fair Oaks home earlier this year. Police believe that the theft may be related to an armed robbery that happened in Tysons that same day. Asif will be sentenced in March.
A Montgomery County judge set to decide the fate of the murder case against a Maryland mother tomorrow. Catherine Hoggle is charged in the disappearance of her 2 young children.
So this is a case that Fox 5 has profiled many times over the past decade. Our Bob Barnard is live outside the courthouse in Rockville with the very latest. Bob?
Yeah, hey there, Angie and Shamari. This 2-day competency hearing just wrapped up. Montgomery County State's Attorney handling this, State's Attorney John McCarthy handling this for the prosecution. And we just learned we will find out whether Catherine Hoggle finally faces murder charges in this 11-year-old case. We'll find out whether she goes to trial tomorrow. This is Montgomery County Circuit Court Judge James Bonifant. He will be deciding whether Catherine Hoggle is competent to stand trial for the murders of her 2 young children, Sarah and Jacob, 11 years ago. Judge Bonifant will make that ruling based on the testimony of 2 forensic psychiatrists with differing opinions on Hoggle's mental well-being. Catherine Hoggle suffers from schizophrenia, but according to the prosecution witness, currently shows no signs of psychotic behavior and would be capable of assisting in her defense at trial. The court's expert witness testified otherwise. Judge Bonifant will also be listening to dozens of recorded phone calls between Catherine Hoggle and her mother and separately with her father from jail this fall. Some were played in open court. In them, Catherine talks coherently about her legal predicament. The judge must also read through scores of text messages between Catherine and the wife of the missing children's father, Troy Turner. Catherine wanting to know information about her oldest child who lives with them. Hoggle repeatedly asked what happened to Sarah and Jacob, never giving an answer.
I'm more hopeful today than I have been throughout this process. The former director of Clifton T. Perkins Hospital Center says the woman accused of murdering my babies is competent to stand trial. So we're very hopeful the court will listen to her expert opinion and we can finally get justice for my kids.
In one text message between Catherine and her mother shared in court, Hoggle wrote, "My secret for navigating my many different environments is I'm a chameleon. Psych." Whether she's competent to stand trial or not, Catherine Hoggle has been consistent in one way, never revealing what happened to her 2 children back in September of 2014. Sarah, age 3, and Jacob, 2 years old, disappeared on separate outings over the span of several hours, having last been in their mother's care. Reading from her notes about a conversation she once had with Hoggle, the state's forensic psychiatrist quoted Catherine as saying, "I'd like to feel like I can trust my attorneys, but not enough to tell them where my kids are." And again, we just heard moments ago from Judge Bonifant that he will convene court at 1:30 tomorrow. So despite all that evidence that he's going to have to listen to and read, some of which was played out in court the last 2 days, he expects to have a ruling tomorrow. And again, if he deems Catherine Hoggle is competent to stand trial, a trial date will be set. It'll be the first time she'll have to face a justice system for the disappearance of her kids 11 years ago, guys.
All right, Bob, thank you so much for that update. Luigi Mangione, who is accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, was back in a New York courtroom today as his pretrial hearing continues. His legal team is looking to remove evidence from the trial. They say items from his backpack were illegally seized by police officers without a warrant. Roughly a dozen witnesses have testified so far in the hearings, which will help the judge in the case decide what evidence will be included once the trial begins.
The union representing U.S. Park police officers is blasting Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen and several other Democratic lawmakers questioning a Trump administration plan to increase the size of the force. In a letter to the Interior Secretary, the senators voice alarm over reports the White House aims to turn U.S. Park Police into the premier law enforcement agency in D.C. and, quote, impose their will on the streets of D.C. The Fraternal Order of Police rejecting the claim that there is no increase in crime and saying that the senator stayed silent during the defund the police movement.
U.S. Park Police, typically they are confined to jurisdiction on federal lands within parks. They're primarily in D.C., San Francisco, a little bit in New York. But we're seeing a huge expansion in the last couple months.
Park Police is part of the U.S. Interior Department, which is part of the Trump administration. Traditionally, they've been responsible for national parkland, federal open space, and national monuments in D.C.
A push to strip developer and former United States Senator Francis G. Newland's name from the traffic circle at the Maryland-D.C. line in Chevy Chase. Now, Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen testifying before the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Subcommittee today to move forward with the Francis G. Newland's Memorial Removal Act. Newland, who founded the Chevy Chase neighborhood, also championed racist and anti-Semitic policies like promoting segregation and restricting non-white immigration.
He was a white supremacist, and he worked to actively ensure that the development he built was inaccessible to blacks, Jews, and working class families.
Critics have long argued that a public plaque honoring him sends the wrong message in a region that celebrates diversity.
A Virginia school board's decision to reinstate Confederate names on 2 schools is headed to trial this week. A group of students and the Virginia NAACP sued the Shenandoah County School Board last year, shortly after they reinstated the names Stonewall Jackson High School and Ashby Lee Elementary School. They're looking to stop the change, arguing the board is violating the Constitution and that the names discriminate against black students.
Well, still to come, everybody, getting commercial flights off the ground is taking a little longer than expected at Manassas Regional Airport. The latest details that we're learning from officials.
Plus, DMV kids can now get in on the new sports league. Check this out. Street hockey, how the Caps are helping to get more kids involved.
Former NFL star teaming up with one local school district to help launch a new AI pilot program in the classroom. We'll tell you all about it. Excuse me. We'll be back right after this. Former NFL star Colin Kaepernick visiting Prince George's County schools this morning to launch an AI partnership. Kaepernick's partnership brings his AI company Lumi into the schools, teaching children how to make AI-generated content. The program uses prompts from students to generate images and also to discuss ideas.
And as we think about our students and going through that creative process, how do we make sure that they have the same access, the same opportunities, and the same insights that the best creators, the best authors have to help them get to their final outcome?
Kaepernick demonstrated that program for the students and the teachers and says that the program will remove barriers for students, despite the concerns that AI programs violate copyrights and also replace artists.
The Washington Capitals are launching a new street hockey league. This is really cool. The new co-ed league will allow kids to play at street hockey rinks. They don't need any prior experience or equipment to join. Registration costs vary by location, but start around $150. The league will play at Reston and Alexandria in Virginia and Germantown in Maryland. Now, hockey is on the rise around the area, with the total number of registered hockey players going up by 70% over the last decade.
Women and men.
That's
and
right.
So both. Yeah, both of them.
Hockey's fun. I used to play in the gym when I was in 6th through 8th grade. It was fun.
Yeah, it sure is.
Street hockey. Still to come, new developments in the murder case of a California teen, with singer David at the center of it, the executive that was grilled by a grand jury.
Yeah, also another check on that forecast with Caitlin. It is cold.
I know, it's just frigid out there. Oh, this morning was tough. Tonight, warm front comes through and temperatures will actually rise above freezing for your Wednesday. Still a gray and chilly day, but we've done colder by now. A couple of rain showers are possible. I'll show you future cast in your full 7 days still to come.
Listen to the music of the moment, people dance and sing. We're just one.
Well, you will soon be able to fly out of another airport right in our region. Commercial flights set to come to Manassas Regional Airport next spring.
And tonight we're getting our first look at what the new passenger terminal could look like. Fox Live's Tisha Lewis joins us live from Manassas with more. Tisha?
We've been covering this closely. We're here inside Manassas Regional Airport, and these new details emerging at last night's Manassas City Council meeting. We have learned that these new commercial flights could include low-cost direct flights to eastern and southern regions, including the Sunshine State.
We're hoping to have Avports announce an airline sometime in January of next year. So the airport itself is continuing to work forward. We've completed the FAA required Part 139 inspection, and we did a very good job and very few discrepancies. So currently we're working on the environmental process.
There you go. Meanwhile, Fox 5 obtained these renderings showing what the expanded Manassas Regional Airport could look like once commercial flights are added. Airport Director Juan Rivera going on to say destinations could include Florida, Myrtle Beach, Savannah, and New York. He says the airport is teaming with airport operator Avports to make expansion plans come to fruition. We're told Avports is managing the major commercial expansion, including reportedly fronting the cost of a new terminal, gates, and renovating the airport's existing terminal. Fox 5 has learned this will all take place in phases. We spoke with a potential future traveler.
I think it'll be good for the community, especially like the traffic to Dulles, like alleviate all the connections and stuff in time. I don't know.
Where are you hoping they fly to and from?
Probably like New York or California. Make it a direct flight would be easier.
So far, the airport has already undergone several FAA inspections. Right now, we are told negotiations are underway with several airlines. In fact, Fox 5 has learned that the Manassas Regional Airport may waive landing fees for airlines to attract more airlines to the airport.
All right. Sounds good. Pretty skyline behind you there, Tisha, in Manassas, Virginia. From one pretty skyline to another, let's take you to Bear Chase in Bluemont, Virginia, as we take a live look from our Fox 5 Skycam. All is calm, all is cold.
Yes, it is cold. Let's get right over to Caitlin with a look at our full forecast. Caitlin?
Yeah, you guys, I know. Plenty of opportunity to talk about how cold it is, how cold it's been, how much it was today, and how much it's going to be really straight through the 7-day forecast. Now, tomorrow, I will say, is a slight break in that temperatures will at least be rising above freezing. We've got a warm front pushing through, so if we get any precipitation, it will probably be just a few rain showers. By Thursday, looks cold and gusty as that Arctic air is reinforced in behind this frontal system. But very quickly, we look at our next chance of some precip, and this could actually be in the form of some snow showers on Friday. So heads up for that. We now have a chance of snow showers on both Friday and Sunday. I mean, they could both go away, meaning just a flurry or two. But at this point, the chance is there for both days. Today, incredibly cold. Our chilliest morning since last winter, 20 degrees was the low at Reagan National. The high temperature just 33. That is a high that is 17 degrees below normal as our incredible December cold continues here. Temperatures are, yes, at 32 or barely there across the region. Low 30s north and west, just 34 there in Quantico, 33 in Manassas. There's been enough of a wind, about 10 to 15 miles an hour, that the wind chill is back down in the mid-20s. So yes, it feels even more uncomfortable than the air temperature says. Satellite and radar, just a little bit of cloud cover sneaking into the south. 2 Clipper systems on our regional radar. One over Pennsylvania and New York. That moves off to our northeast. And another over the Twin Cities, bringing some snow there. That will move eastward over the mountains tonight, and that will bring us a chance of a few showers tomorrow. What it will really do is kind of slam up against the mountains, and the Allegheny front is looking at some decent snows and even the rarely issued blizzard warnings here for western Garrett County back through the high ridges here of West Virginia. This is again in the mountains, but these are blizzard warnings that take effect late tonight through the day Wednesday into early Thursday morning. Here's Futurecast, which shows not much is going on Here, just increasing cloudiness through the day on Wednesday. A couple showers possible to the north. There's your Allegheny front seeing the rain and snow showers. The snow really gets going for them more tomorrow night. So it's a slow kind of run up during the day tomorrow, and then they'll get some accumulation snow Wednesday night into Thursday. But the shower chances look really minimal here, so I wouldn't count on much. It's mostly a cloudy and chilly day. By Thursday, we do get the sun back, but it's reinforced by the cold and the wind. So 45 tomorrow with a few chilly showers possible. And then on Thursday, partly sunny and gusty. The waves of cold are going to continue. So even though, we go up on Wednesday, we're back down again Thursday. We might kind of go up on Saturday. We're back down again on Sunday. And with these passing fronts, that's when you get those chances, some snow showers out ahead. No weekend relief, and the cold does look sustained even into next week. So the 6 to 10 day outlook continues to show below normal temperatures centered over the northeast, and not much change until maybe 2 weeks from now. This would put you nearly at the Christmas holiday, but that's spending the majority of December with temperatures below and well below normal. There's your 7 day, still looks very wintry. Friday, cold with a high of 37 and a few snow showers. It's still cold on Saturday, but even colder on Sunday with a chance of snow, and looks pretty bitter even as we head into next week. Angie, back over to you.
We'll get ready to bundle up. Thank you so much, Caitlin. Okay, the President David's touring company, the artist David, the singer David's touring company, was grilled Monday by a deputy district attorney in front of a grand jury on why he did not call the cops. That grand jury is hearing evidence in the death of Celeste Rivas, and the LAPD is considering David a suspect in what it says is a murder. TMZ following the story, which I feel like is just a slow drip of a story and a case here, moving at a glacial pace when we talk about the investigation. This is the latest development. What does this tour guide, or not tour guide, but the guy in charge of his tour have to do with this? Does he know something?
That's a great question, Angie, and I think it's a question we don't have an answer to right now, although I will say that he was, on Monday, he was in front of a grand jury in Los Angeles. They he was with the grand jury for quite a while, Angie, so this was essentially an all-day hearing here, and there was a point where they took a break, and he was outside, and he was speaking with his attorney then. There was really nobody else around, but they were out in a public place. And there was a conversation that the tour manager and his attorney were heard having. And it went something like the tour manager telling his attorney that a deputy district attorney, someone who was questioning him in front of the grand jury, was being very pushy. Pushy was the way he described it, about why he did not call the police. Now, it's unclear exactly what the time frame is here, or what even was specifically the police would have been contacted about. But we do know that David was on tour when Celeste Rivas's body was found. Now, the attorney essentially says to his client, to the tour manager, what did you tell them? And he responds, the tour manager does, that he didn't feel like it was his responsibility to call the police, that he just wanted to get the tour kind of move on with things and let's do our job here. So that's the conversation that they had. It leads you to believe that he was being grilled inside of that room. And certainly, and like you said, Angie, they view David as a suspect here in the death of Celeste Rivas.
Yeah, this is weird. I mean, he clearly put the benefits of a tour and making money with a tour above reporting possibly a crime or what he knew about it. That's just bonkers. I wonder if this means that he could end up being an accessory to a crime or something if this ends, depending on what he knows or doesn't know. That's a story for another day. But come on. I mean, I feel like Nancy Grace over here. I'm like, I got questions, okay? So, like, David.
Yeah, and we're getting nothing, Angie. Nothing.
They that Tesla. Can't be that hard to tell, okay?
Right, especially with a car like a Tesla. There's exactly. It makes no sense. I cannot remember a case in Los Angeles. This is where I live. I can't remember a case like this where just no information has come out, and the police are not saying anything. It's so bizarre. It really is.
And then we got like these new people that are introduced to it. We got nothing. And a poor girl, lost her life over this.
A teenager.
And at the end of the day, that's what we're dealing with. So.
Right.
Okay.
So sad.
Well.
We'll see, Angie.
Frustrated, but thank you for a little bit more clarification, Michael. Good to see you as always. And you can catch more TMZ, of course, right here, 7:30 on Fox 5 after Like It or Not.
Still to come, Starbucks fans, you may have a good chance to win the viral barista cold cup.
Ooh, okay, my kids will be happy. Then at 5, the FIFA World Cup draw may be over, but the problems surrounding the organization's president, they are just beginning. Time for the feed at 4. Starbucks Barista Cup may be back, but it is not the restock that fans were hoping for. Fans can actually score the viral Bear Cup if they win the Starbucks for Life holiday game. That game opened to Starbucks Rewards members yesterday, and one of the main prizes is the Barista Cup, as well as gift cards and the opportunity to win free Starbucks for a year or for life.
For life?
Woo, caffeine for life.
Man,
sign me up.
I'll take it. Your News at 5 with Jim and Marina starts right now.
Tonight at 5, growing questions around a security guard's actions after deadly shooting outside of a nightclub. The new information tonight adding another layer to the case.
Plus, a push to expand the U.S. Park Police Force causes a clash between lawmakers and the police union.
And pressure building around Maryland's major rebuild, with top leaders setting up talks that could shape years of construction ahead.
But we start the 5 with a major step to block a proposed casino in Northern Virginia. Today, leaders in Fairfax County made it clear they don't like that plan.
But the issue could still bubble up in the new year. Fox 5's Homa Bash live tonight with the details on the hotly issued and the debated issue. Homa?
Guys, good evening. This is where that proposed casino would go, right near the Spring Hill Metro Station. And today, for the very first time, the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors voting on an amendment that says they do not want it here, and this is not the right place for a casino.
We've seen in other parts of the Commonwealth where there are successful casino proposals, we've seen those really come up through the local government, through local communities. This has been the opposite. This one has come really from the state down to the local level. And so it doesn't have the community support.
Now, the Fairfax County Board voting today 5-4 to add an amendment to the state legislative program to oppose a casino in Tysons. The plan first came up in 2023. It would include an entertainment district with restaurants, hotel, and shopping. The casino would be roughly 200,000 square feet near the Spring Hill Silver Line Metro Station. Those in favor have promised significant tax revenue and jobs, but there has been a very vocal group of Fairfax County residents, business owners, and community leaders who have opposed the casino from the start. The Tyson Stakeholder Alliance telling Fox 5 they hope the concerns raised today and the clear opposition from the Tysons community continue to shape the conversation in Richmond as policymakers consider any potential casino proposal.
Yeah, I don't know. The traffic would be very bad.
The people around the casino don't benefit at all by a casino. So I'm totally opposed to the casino. And then, certain type of people that come into casinos might, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it could increase the crime around a casino.
What I have been concerned about from day one isn't necessarily whether we are for or against it. It is to make sure that the protections that residents of this county need are in the bill.
Now, the Virginia General Assembly session starts on January 14th, and right now, no casino legislation has been reintroduced, but leaders do believe that it will, and hopefully, this amendment will protect Fairfax County residents from bringing one right here. Guys?
Thank you, Homa. Let's take it back outside right now and give you a look here from our sky cam. A beautiful sunset there from our Stax camera, and yeah, pretty close to freezing. I'm sure freezing in some parts. It certainly feels like it.
Yeah, Mike is off tonight. Gwen's here in the Weather Center with the first check of the forecast at 5 o'clock.
Cold, guys,
yeah,
really cold. And that cold air really isn't going anywhere. We'll get a little break tomorrow. It'll be the warmest day of the week, but guess what? It'll still be below the seasonal average. So not a major warm up, so don't expect it. Also, maybe a few passing showers, very light in nature, not too much to even talk about. Pretty conversational, let's say. As we always have, beautiful sunsets here in the district. Currently 33 degrees. Bundle up if you're heading out. Winds are from the south at 16 miles an hour, but the feel like is 23, so that's the wind chill. So if you step outside, that's what you've got to dress for. 30 at Winchester this hour, 31 at Culpeper, that's the same at Fredericksburg, 32 at Leonardtown and Annapolis, Baltimore at 31, and we've got 30 degrees at Frederick and 29 at Hagerstown. So a few clouds, not too much to speak about right now, but if you take a look out to the west, this is what we're watching. There's a system pushing its way closer towards the Great Lakes. That's going to be a weather maker as it moves its way towards our area, and it's bringing in a cold front that's going to bring behind it a pretty good reinforcing shot of cold air for our region. In the meantime, areas across the west from that same system over the mountains, blizzard warning in effect, could see more than 4 to 5 inches of snowfall there, and also a winter weather advisory over the higher elevations of the Alleghenies. Not looking at any of that coming our way. So here's a look at your planner for tonight. Very cold. Bundle up, extra blanket on the bed. Full 7-day coming up in just a bit. Marina?
Gwen, thank you. Tonight, new information you'll see only on Fox 5 about an overnight deadly shooting at a Prince George's County nightclub.
Yeah, today we learned a security guard shot and killed a man who was previously in prison for murdering a 14-year-old girl. Our chief legal correspondent Katie Barlow is live at the scene with more on what we're learning tonight.
Good evening, guys. This all went down here at the Ebony Inn, where police say that an armed private security guard officer shot and killed 50-year-old Donald Wayne Hunt Jr. late last night. Now, the police also say that the security guard officer shot into a crowd, or the crowd was gathering and potentially in a fight at the time when the security guard officer was interacting with them, and that crowd possibly included Hunt. Now, Fox 5 can confirm that Hunt was released from D.C. jail 2 years ago after he was sentenced to 35 years behind bars in connection with the shooting death of a 14-year-old girl in D.C. back in 1996. Now, Prince George's County Police are continuing to investigate this case. We were outside this afternoon where homicide detectives were investigating the scene. They have not named the security guard. No charges have been filed. Those detectives in and out of the building all afternoon. At one point, were examining something up on the roof of the building. Police also say that a second firearm was recovered from the scene that does not belong to the security guard. Prince George's Board of License Commissioners confirmed that whenever an incident like this occurs, the establishment with the liquor license has to be reviewed by the board to see what led up to the event, and that the board had recently approved the club to have a live entertainment on Sunday and Monday nights. The website says they're open until 2 a.m., and the licensing board also said that they've not had any concerns from the Ebony Inn, at least in the last 2 years. Now, these armed security guard private officers often perform core police functions, including carrying a gun. And in Maryland, the governor has the authority to appoint and deputize special police officers. And just in May, Maryland's Governor Wes Moore actually vetoed a bill that would have expanded the group of people that it could apply to become those special police officers in Maryland. And it would have included agencies that have these security guards. Guys.
We have an update tonight on the status of West Virginia National Guardsman Andrew Wolf after he was shot last month in D.C. He's apparently making progress in rehab, sitting up, moving, and interacting with medical staff and family, which, according to his team, shows he's on the road to recovery. The suspect charged with injuring Wolf and killing 20-year-old National Guardsman Sarah Beckstrom has already pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder and other charges.
Montgomery County Council is taking up 3 pieces of legislation today. Council members say it'll help prevent discrimination against immigrants in the county. It also limits how much the county will help with federal immigration enforcement and ensures residents can receive county resources and benefits regardless of status.
Now, through this codification, we're going to ensure that regardless of who our leadership is in Montgomery County, we will continue to treat immigrants with dignity, with respect, regardless of who is in control of the federal government at that particular time.
The council passing the HERO Act, which provides additional benefits for families of fallen firefighters. And the University Boulevard Corridor Plan. The plan allows for a new range of residential housing options along the busy 3-mile stretch in Silver Spring. Those changes start immediately. Council also appointing Shebra Evans to fill the at-large council seat vacated by Gabe Albornoz. Evans has deep roots in the county, having served 8 years on the Board of Education, where she served twice as president and oversaw multi-billion-dollar operating and capital budgets.
Heading in Northern Virginia right now, polls close in less than 2 hours in a special election for an open board on the Board of Supervisors. 3 candidates running for the Braddock District seat to replace now Congressman James Walkinshaw. On the ballot, Democratic School Board member Rachna Sizemore Heiser, Republican Community Leader Ken Balbuena, and independent veteran Kerry Campbell. The district represents 29 precincts in the central part of the county. Those polls close at 7 o'clock.
WMATA is setting to move forward with plans to fully automate metro trains. A new self-driving train system, part of a modernization plan set to be revealed this Thursday. This is all part of an estimated $5 billion upgrade. The report says it would reduce costs by $13 million per year. Automation will start on individual corridors and could start with the Red Line next fiscal year.
Still to come here at 5 o'clock, another turn in the Jeffrey Epstein saga. A judge clearing hundreds of documents for release.
Plus, the Key Bridge rebuild back in the spotlight with budget timing and oversight questions on the agenda. But first, we're checking in with Tom Fitzgerald in D.C. tonight. Fitz.
Marina, good evening. One of the major police departments in the area could be supersized soon. We'll talk about that when Fox 5 continues right after this.
police union representing U.S. Park police officers criticizing Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen and several of his Democratic Senate colleagues as they question a Trump administration plan that could supersize the force. Tom Fitzgerald's live tonight at the Lincoln Memorial. That's one of the many places Park Police protects. What do they have to say tonight, Fitz?
Jim, good evening. Yeah, a lot of people know that the U.S. Park Police patrols areas like the Lincoln Memorial, but that is far from the end of it. Think about it. They are in charge of protecting the National Mall, all of the other monuments in Washington, D.C., Rock Creek Park, many of the highways and parkways in our area as well, too, that are under federal ownership. But now the department could be in for a very big boost of its entire force. The department right now has about 400 officers on the U.S. Park Police, but reports now say that the Trump administration could move to even double that number, offering $70,000 signing bonuses for new recruits to join U.S. Park Police. It would literally transform the Park Police into a much larger police force that answers directly to President Donald Trump. Eric Katz is a correspondent for the Government Executive News site.
We're seeing a huge expansion in the last couple months where they're going from a few hundred officers to maybe doubling that is the expectation or more. So the Trump administration is looking to really leverage that police force.
But that is causing some controversy. Maryland U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen and several of his Democratic Senate colleagues wrote to the Interior Department Secretary yesterday that they are alarmed by these efforts to increase the size of the U.S. Park Police and turn it into a much larger force. In their words, they're concerned Park Police could, quote, impose their will on the streets of D.C. Now, meanwhile, the Fraternal Order of Police, which represents Park police officers, they strongly disagreed with that position. In their own statement, they said that their officers are dealing with increasing street crime in D.C. and they need more officers. This issue also came up at a House hearing just days ago.
In recent years, the district has faced challenges that threaten both the safety of its residents and its visitors.
The president's approach to it is more about politics and control than about safety and justice.
This debate is likely to go on. Fox 5 did reach out to Senator Chris Van Hollen today. A spokesperson told us he was not available to comment. Meanwhile, we did not receive comment from our inquiries to both the U.S. Park Police and the Department of the Interior. We're live in Northwest tonight. We'll send it back into you.
Maryland Governor Wes Moore and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is set to meet in the coming weeks discussing concerns over Maryland's handling of key transportation projects. That includes the rebuild of the Francis Scott Key Bridge and the American Legion Memorial Bridge on the Capitol Beltway. In September, Duffy is sending a letter to Moore questioning the proposed Key Bridge budget, which is now estimated to be more than $5 billion and the timeline. A new tool can help Montgomery County residents learn if they're in a flood-prone area. The county's new Flood Risk Explorer identifying flood-prone areas, starting with Sligo Creek watershed. It helps residents learn how much risk their homes in. The tool is available on the county website.
All right, let's turn to weather right now. Gwen is here tonight as we hit the midpoint of the week and we're getting ready, I guess, to bust the umbrellas out again.
Yeah, it won't be a major rainfall, though. That's at least some good news. We're talking some passing scattered showers or so. And that's what's going to happen on Hump Day. And guess what? It's going to be the warmest day of the week and will be below the seasonal average on top of it. So cold air is going to kick right back in by the time we get to Thursday. It'll be gusty as well. You really have to bundle up. And then by the time we hit Friday into the weekend, we're talking a chance of maybe some snow showers in the forecast. So we'll see how that all pans out. In the meantime, here's a look at the highs for today. We struggled into the low 30s, nowhere near where we should be. The average high being 50 degrees, certainly left that in the dust at all three airports. And this hour, it is pretty cold as well, 33 degrees. Winds are from the south at 16 miles an hour, but we're not feeling the warmth of that southerly wind flow at all. It is cold. 28 degrees for Winchester this hour, 36 to the west at Cumberland. Culpeper at 31. That's the same at Fredericksburg, Manassas, and and Dulles. And we've got 33 degrees at Quantico and 32 at Leonardtown. And the wind chill, if you step outside, this is what it feels like, only into the 20s for the most part. We have an exception, though, 19 degrees at Hagerstown and 35 at Cumberland. So satellite radar composite showing you we've got a few clouds that are across the region now, but we're keeping a close eye on a system that's well out to our west. This is going to be a pretty quick moving frontal system that's going to head its way across our region, and that is going to impact areas of the Allegheny Front, West Virginia Panhandle quite a bit as it brings a fair amount of snow throughout that area. We, on the other hand, will see, as I said, just a few passing showers from it, not too much else as we move into hump day, which will be into the 40s for a daytime high. And once again, warmest day of the week. Let's time this out for you. So here we are, early morning hours. Most of the action up to the northwest along Mason-Dixon. And then as we get into about the afternoon hours, we're seeing right here along Elkins, seeing some of that coming a little closer toward that I-81 corridor. But you can notice that all that winter weather, the snow accumulation, stays out to the west. And that's where they have some weather alerts. For us along the Beltway, not seeing much, just a little bit of that passing rain right there to the north of I-70. So this is where there's a winter weather advisory and also a blizzard warning, blowing snow and accumulations that'll be more than 4 to 5 inches for sure. So if you're traveling there, do be careful. Temperatures for tonight, as I said, cold into the 30s. Bundle up, put the extra blanket on the bed. And tomorrow, we're into the mid-40s for the most part. Warmest day of the week on our 7-day forecast, because after that, we start to get that colder air coming through. Behind the front on Wednesday, we'll get an influence of colder air that'll shoot in. Friday, it really cools down. Chance of some maybe snow or some snow showers from Friday through into Sunday. Timing, the amount of moisture we get, what we get, that's still a little bit with a question mark, but we're watching it for you. Guys, back to you.
Gwen, thank you. Coming up, a new proposal has one Maryland city divided over revenue, tourism, and security.
And the federal shutdown is over, but long-delayed data reveals where America's job market really stands. We're back after this.
on Fox.
I inherited a total mess. Prices were at an all-time high when I came in. Prices are coming down substantially.
President Trump's expected at a rally tonight in Pennsylvania as he tries to build support for his economic plans. He's been defending his tariffs, blaming the Biden administration for the state of the economy. Democrats say the president's responsible for an affordability crisis, citing the rising cost of many grocery staples. The president has called those claims nothing more than a, quote, Democratic hoax. U.S. job openings barely moved in October, holding at 7.7 million, and new data that was delayed by the federal shutdown. Layoffs rose and fewer people left their jobs, which experts believe signals workers are less confident in the state of the job market. The report comes as the Federal Reserve meets today to weigh another rate cut, despite inflation still hovering above the target 2% mark.
All that is home delisting surged 38% in November as sellers struggle to get offers near their asking price. According to Realtor.com, delistings for the year are up 45% over 2024, marking the highest rate since tracking started in 2022. A new proposal out of Annapolis City Council would temporarily ban new short-term rental licenses. Mayor Jared Littman backing the plan to institute a one-year moratorium, pausing most applications. The proposal would still allow renewals and owner-occupied rentals. Critics warning the city could lose tax revenue, but supporters say the city is struggling to enforce existing rules. Former NFL star Colin Kaepernick was in Prince George's County today, launching an AI partnership, bringing his company Lumi into public schools, teaching children how to make AI-generated content. The program uses prompts from students to generate images and discuss ideas.
As we think about education, as we think about the future of our communities and the future of our students, Prince George's County is leading the way. Everywhere we go, people are looking at Prince George's County as leaders in the space.
Kaepernick demonstrated the program for students and teachers, saying he hopes it will remove technology barriers for students.
So to come, a new study shows how your brain changes at 4 key ages. We'll tell you what they are, and then you could probably be the judge yourself. That's coming up.
Can't wait. And the Supreme Court weighing a case that could upend how elections are funded. Why both parties are watching this one closely. Plus, here's Sharon.
A major ruling today in the Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell sex trafficking case, and it could determine how much of their secret world the public finally gets to see. What the judge decided next.
federal judge allowing the Justice Department to publicly release grand jury testimony in the case against convicted sex offender Ghislaine Maxwell.
The judge is citing a law passed last month by Congress, signed by the president, requiring the government to open its files on Epstein and his longtime confidant. Our Sharon Roger is here in studio. Now the judge is warning the public, tamper those expectations a little bit.
Yeah, because the country is like waiting to see how this case develops, right? A federal judge says that the public should not expect to learn much new information in these Maxwell documents. He says that these newly unsealed grand jury transcripts and other materials, in his words, do not identify any person other than Epstein and Maxwell as having sexual contact with a minor. So in other words, Judge Paul Engelmeyer says that the documents do not identify any clients of Maxwell or Epstein, alluding to that long alleged client list. Engelmeyer is the second judge to act after the Epstein Files transparency law created a small exception to rules that typically keep grand jury proceedings secret. Just last week, another federal judge ordered the release of transcripts from an abandoned Epstein grand jury investigation in the 2000s. Fox 5 spoke to Joseph Tully, a defense attorney, who says the courts and Justice Department are now making sure all necessary steps are taken to protect victims.
They're still making sure all redactions are happening, which is where you go through and black out certain names or change names from somebody's personal name to, victim 1, victim 2, victim 3, that sort of thing. So privacy rights of victims will be protected.
Tully tells us redactions will also be made if there are national security concerns. For now, a request to unseal records from Epstein's 2019 sex trafficking case is pending. Maxwell is serving, of course, that 20-year sentence on sex trafficking and other charges for helping Epstein sexually abuse teenage girls. And just a caveat, there's so much misinformation out there on this case, and you just cannot accept everything that you see, because a lot of times we will have released lists before, and that's just not the case.
There's a lot of that out online where it's not. There actually is a lot of things that have been released, as we know, online already. Yes.
It's really the FBI case files that I think for a lot of the victims is what is being asked to be released. The DOJ seems to be to some degree slow walking because we're talking about sex abuse victims. And I think there's got to be make sure that everything. But after Congress said we want bipartisan,
they want to see all of it.
They want to see all of it. It's going to be very hard, including the judge who finally had to give up the grand jury
and make it open.
Sunlight is the best disinfectant, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
A 20-year-old man from the Bronx is now charged with attempted murder in last month's shooting of Jets cornerback Chris Boyd outside of a restaurant in Manhattan. Detectives believe the shooting followed a late-night fight that started when a group of men mocked Boyd and their friends over their clothes. Boyd was shot in the abdomen and rushed to the hospital. He has since returned to the Jets facility as his recovery continues.
And police in Pennsylvania today defending their search for Luigi Mangione after his arrest. His defense team arguing police gathered key evidence during a search of his bag when he was arrested because it was obtained without a warrant. They say it should be thrown out of trial. Police also saying they suspect there might be a bomb in that police bag. At least that's what they said at the time. Police finding a gun silencer manifesto and a map of escape routes.
A Montgomery County judge is set to decide the fate of the murder case against a Maryland mother tomorrow. Catherine Hoggle is charged in the disappearance of her 2 young kids.
It's a case that Fox 5 has profiled many times over the past decade. Our Bob Barnard in Rockville tonight with the very latest.
This 2-day competency hearing wrapped up late this afternoon with Montgomery County State's Attorney John McCarthy leading the prosecution's efforts. And we did just learn that we'll find out whether Catherine Hoggle goes to trial on these murder charges sometime tomorrow afternoon. This is Montgomery County Circuit Court Judge James Bonifant. He will be deciding whether Catherine Hoggle is competent to stand trial for the murders of her 2 young children, Sarah and Jacob, 11 years ago. Judge Bonifant will make that ruling based on the testimony of 2 forensic psychiatrists with differing opinions on Hoggle's mental well-being. Catherine Hoggle suffers from schizophrenia, but according to the prosecution witness, currently shows no signs of psychotic behavior and would be capable of assisting in her defense at trial.
The former director of Clifton T. Perkins Hospital Center says the woman accused of murdering my babies is competent to stand trial. So we're very hopeful the court will listen to her expert opinion and we can finally get justice for my kids.
The court's expert witness testified otherwise. Judge Bonifant will also be listening to dozens of recorded phone calls between Catherine Hoggle and her mother, and separately with her father from jail this fall. Some were played in open court. In them, Catherine talks coherently about her legal predicament. The judge must also read through scores of text messages between Catherine and the wife of the missing children's father, Troy Turner. Catherine wanting to know information about her oldest child who lives with them. Hoggle repeatedly asked what happened to Sarah and Jacob, never giving an answer.
Catherine was at the jail for 96 days, so if she had even 50 texts a day, probably more than that, sitting in a 9 by 12 foot cell with nothing to do, it's to me, that's not uncommon.
In one text message between Catherine and her mother shared in court, Hoggle wrote, "My secret for navigating my many different environments is I'm a chameleon. Psych." Whether she's competent to stand trial or not, Catherine Hoggle has been consistent in one way, never revealing what happened to her two children back in September of 2014. Sarah, age 3, and Jacob, 2 years old, disappeared on separate outings over the span of several hours, having last been in their mother's care. Again, Judge Bonifant says he will issue his ruling here at 1:30 tomorrow, which will decide whether Catherine Hoggle finally goes on trial for murder. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Healthcare front and center on the Hill this week as Affordable Care Act subsidies are set to expire at the end of the year, at the end of the month, which is the end of the year. The COVID-era tax breaks kept insurance premiums low during the pandemic, avoiding price hikes. Democrats want a 3-year extension. Republicans want to come up with a new plan altogether. GOP lawmakers have floated several proposals, including expanding health savings accounts, but not everybody in the party's on board.
What are Democrats proposing to do this week, Mr. President? Introduce reforms? Perhaps try a different approach. They have announced plans to throw good money after bad.
The question Republicans face this week is very simple. Will they support our bill and lower people's premiums, or will they block our bill and send premiums through the roof?
Remember, a promise to vote on extending those subsidies was part of the deal to avert the government shutdown. On Thursday, the Senate's expected to vote on that Democratic extension plan, but it will fail without any Republican support.
New research suggesting the human brain doesn't really fully reach adulthood until the age of 32, marking one of the 5 distinct development stages. Cambridge researchers obtaining major turning points at ages 9, 32, 66, and 83, each shifting how the brain rewires and reorganizes itself. Adolescence, the most efficient phase for forming new connections, lasting from age 9 to 32. The 2 later stages, adulthood and aging, bringing slower but more stable brain function.
A local football star is helping pet owners. Commanders defensive end Jake Martin fully sponsoring pet vaccines at the Humane Rescue Alliance today. Martin's Initiative 55 drive advocates for big dogs to get rabies and other vaccines.
Being a responsible dog owner in terms of staying up to date with vaccinations, and taking care of your dog when they're sick or in need, those pet bills add up, so it's hard on anyone. So that's the least I could do this holiday season, is to make sure that people's dogs and stuff are in health, like we're healthy.
Martin praising the work of the people at the HRA.
Still ahead, a Supreme Court battle over campaign cash, and it could shift the balance in future races.
And Christmas is 16 days away, but the deadline to get your gifts out is almost here. We're back after the break.
President Volodymyr Zelensky reaffirming he will not cede any land to Russia to end the war, and he has a new plan he wants to propose. In an interview with Politico today, the president and President Trump pressing Zelensky to accept the U.S. proposal and cede that territory to Russia. Trump claiming that Russia has had the upper hand and wants Zelensky to, quote, play ball.
I just want to see people stop from being killed.
We in Europe must become much more independent from the U.S. in terms of security policy. This is the new strategy of the Americans.
Zelensky is on a tour of European capitals this week, meeting with leaders to rally support as fighting intensifies. Meanwhile, today in Japan, issuing a megaquake advisory after a 7.5 magnitude earthquake hitting parts of the nation. Mostly mild injuries reported, with some damage to roads and buildings. But according to Japanese officials, the advisory, a precaution, not a prediction, with the odds of an 8+ magnitude earthquake being less than 1%.
Conservative justices on the Supreme Court seem poised to back a GOP-led effort to erase limits on how much political parties can spend in coordination with political candidates. The court's revisiting a 2001 decision that restricts coordinated party spending to $63,000 per House race and a sliding scale for Senate seats. President Trump and Republicans want the Supreme Court to remove those limits altogether. Democrats believe that would allow donors to get around political donation limits. Jimmy Kimmel will stay on the air through May of 2027 under a new one-year contract extension with ABC. The move comes months after the network suspended him over comments he made after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Shortly after, the network reversed suspension as his ratings surged. President Trump has repeatedly pushed ABC to drop Kimmel. It's worth noting Jimmy Kimmel is the third highest rated Jimmy in late night in D.C. behind yours truly. And Jimmy Fallon. I'd be number one.
Yeah, of course. Still ahead.
Watch me at 11:30, not him.
Still ahead, Dulles BWI Reagan National come next year. Another local hub can get to your holiday destination. We'll tell you what that is.
And new details on the attack outside of a D.C. nightclub that left 5 injured. That's all coming up at 6. But right now, here's Caitlin.
Jim, I think it was our coldest day yet. So hopefully you're thawing out from that one. As we look towards tomorrow, slightly warmer with a few showers, but that cold quickly returns. We'll have a look at the 7-day forecast after the break.
Low-cost direct flights to Florida and more on the horizon. Commercial flights set to come to Manassas Regional Airport next spring.
And tonight we're getting our first look at what the new passenger terminal there could look like. Tisha Lewis is in Manassas with more.
We've been covering this closely. We're here inside Manassas Regional Airport, and these new details emerging at last night's Manassas City Council meeting. We have learned that these new commercial flights could include low-cost direct flights to eastern and southern regions, including the Sunshine State.
What are some of the routes that people can expect?
Well, we feel that the airlines will, because this is going to be mostly a leisure market, would be up and down the East Coast. I would say Florida is definitely a destination that you can expect, along with other southerly routes to maybe include Myrtle Beach and Savannah, and then to the north of us, New York area with certain would probably be another one.
There you go. Meanwhile, Fox 5 obtained these renderings showing what the expanded Manassas Regional Airport could look like once commercial flights are added. Airport Director Juan Rivera going on to say destinations could include Florida, Myrtle Beach, Savannah, and New York. He says the airport is teaming with airport operator Avports to make expansion plans come to fruition. We're told Avports is managing the major commercial expansion, including reportedly fronting the cost of a new terminal, gates, and renovating the airport's existing terminal. Fox 5 has learned this will all take place in phases. We spoke with a potential future traveler.
I think it's great for Chantilly, like Manassas communities.
So far, the airport has undergone several FAA inspections. Right now, negotiations are underway with several airlines. In fact, Fox 5 has learned that Manassas Regional Airport may waive landing fees for the airlines the first couple years to attract more business.
Putting profit over health.
Putting profit over health.
While investors hoard their wealth.
That wasn't a concert. Those are environmental activists interrupting a Public Service Commission hearing today. They're protesting the proposed $2.5 million Washington Gas pipe replacement plan, claiming it'll raise rates for DMV residents. Washington Gas maintains the needed improvements are necessary for a safe, reliable energy system in the district.
In his new police chief, a familiar face in the department, Deputy Chief Dan Janicki has been a deputy police chief for more than a decade, taking over for outgoing Chief Jim Morris, who's retiring after 13 years. Time at 5:47. Let's get you another live look outside, this time from our wharf camera pointed towards Ronald Reagan National Airport. Things are looking okay there on the runway, 33 degrees. I mean, you could certainly feel that it was likely one of the coldest days, but at this point, cold is cold.
Yeah. But you know what's warm? Pop-Tarts. I know, we're not going to do that again.
We're back to the Pop-Tart Bowl.
I just heard our producer just audibly sigh in my ear after
heavily. Cinnamon. Yeah, please.
The second you said I wasn't going to do it, and then you just gave me an in. Let's talk weather, because I think we're not just worried about the temperatures, too. We're also worried about some of this rain coming in.
Oh, well, Pop-Tarts works as well. You know, I say cold one too many times now in these 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So be happy to talk about something else. I'm sure no one else would mind. Yeah, I mean, it does feel like we're having cold and then colder days, like Marina said. Today was truly the coldest we've had so far this month, this season. The low temperature this morning was 20 degrees. You have to go back to last winter since it was that cold at Reagan National. It's going to get a little better tomorrow, but I wouldn't exactly call it warm. It's just that temperatures will be well above freezing. We could get a few rain showers, not snow showers, in here late Wednesday. But then the Arctic air comes blasting back in Thursday. Gusty winds, colder temperatures, even a few passing snow showers on Friday. I'm going to show you this map, which shows you high temperatures going all the way back to November 27th, which was Thanksgiving. So since Thanksgiving, we've had all of our high temperatures be below normal, some wildly below normal, like today, with a high of 33. That was 17 degrees below normal. So truly, we've been in this cold pattern for a couple weeks, and it's really just kind of amped up in the last week, giving us such a cold start to December. If this doesn't quit anytime soon, we're really kind of talking about one of the coldest we've had in quite some time. Not just the start to it, but possibly the whole month. We'll see. Still a lot of month left. Temperatures right now, 33 in D.C., 32 in Annapolis, 31 in Westminster and Dulles, upper 20s, back out along 81. The wind chill's been a factor today. We've had enough of a breeze at about 10 to 15 miles an hour that it feels like it's in the low 20s. Satellite and radar is quiet here. A couple clipper systems to point out. One over the Twin Cities. They're getting some snow there. That's headed for Chicago next. Parts of the Great Lakes have already seen a ton of snow, and we are literally not even in winter yet. It is still fall, but Chicago's had more snow since the cold began, more than they had last year, 17 inches, and they're about to get some more. So satellite radar also shows another system over upstate New York that's passing off to our north and east. But it's this system, this clipper that I mentioned, that's going to be bringing some snow to parts of Ohio and western Pennsylvania tomorrow. But for us, we're a little bit farther south. That warm front is north of us, and we'll just see a few passing showers. This is Wednesday afternoon. Really not loving a lot of rain here locally. This would truly just be a passing shower or two, mostly north. It is going to produce accumulating snow, very gusty winds along the Allegheny front, and they should get several inches Wednesday into Thursday morning, along with blowing and drifting, and so much so, in fact, with the wind that blizzard warnings have been issued for western Garrett County and much of the Blue Ridge here. This is at kind of the highest elevations, so don't have to go too far, I guess, for some real winter to be showing up, but that is still far away from the metro area. 45 tomorrow, 40 on Thursday, partly sunny with that reinforcing wind. So it'll be gusty and cold on Thursday as we get another cold wave behind that clipper system. The pattern continues of these clippers and then the reinforced Arctic air. So this weekend, we'll see another dose of that. Really no relief in sight in terms of our temperatures. The extended forecast by the Climate Prediction Center continues to show well below normal temperatures through at least the middle part of the month, maybe relenting a bit as we get closer to the holiday, but we'll see. There's your 7-day. A chance of some snow showers on Friday and again on Sunday. Both these days, it looks like light snow, not big accumulations, but perhaps impactful. So we'll be watching both those instances before we get cold again next week. Jim and Marina, back to you.
All right, as we know via weather, thank you, Caitlin, that Christmas is close, and the U.S. Postal Service wants to remind you of its holiday mailing deadlines. That's if you want your gifts to arrive on time. Fox 5's Maureen Ume in Sterling with what you need to know.
These are the ship-by dates you need to know about if you plan to get those gifts under the Christmas tree on that date. They are reminding people of the recommended send-by dates for expected delivery before December 25th. And for most people, that window closes much sooner than you think. So for customers in the contiguous United States, USPS says for Ground Advantage, send by December 17th. First-class mail, December 17th. Priority mail, December 18th. Priority Mail Express, December 20th. Those are the dates you need to know. Do not miss those dates. Otherwise, you won't get those gifts under the tree on time. USPS says planning actually started back in January. That happens every single year. They have everything from more than 600 new package sorters to 14,000 seasonal hires, new processing centers, updated turnaround standards, and nearly 29,000 new delivery vehicles on the road. They say all of that means that they're ready for this holiday surge. But the one thing customers can't control is how early they ship. USPS is also reminding people to check packaging guidelines, restricted items, and local post office hours. You can do that at USPS.com. And USPS says this year they'll also continue extended retail hours at some very busy locations, and they will prioritize morning parcel delivery to help keep things moving. Do not wait. Giving you another look at these ship-by dates that you need to be aware of. Again, you can get these on USPS's website. We've got them here on Fox 5's website. Bottom line, again, is get it done early. We're about 2 weeks out.
All right, let's talk hockey. The Caps are launching a new street hockey league. The new co-ed league will allow kids to play at street hockey rinks. Registration costs around $150. The league will play games in Reston, Alexandria, and Germantown.
And just days after re-injuring his left elbow, Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels out serving the community. He partnered with Raising Cane's, hosting a bike giveaway today at East Hall and Union Station. All the bikes and helmets were donated to the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Washington.
I mean, it means a lot just to be out here and be able to give back, to the kids and see how happy they are. So I appreciate Canes. I appreciate the Boys and Girls Club. I just appreciate everybody who's involved to make this day special.
Last year, Canes gifted a total of 2,500 bikes.
All right, so to come days after FIFA's president was at the Kennedy Center for the World Cup draw, his career in soccer could now be in jeopardy.
And coming up at 6, Governor Moore calling for a special session in Maryland. We'll tell you the reason why.
And we're back now with 5 things to know. A second suspect arrested in a fatal shooting in Northwest D.C. This happened back on Missouri Avenue in summer of 2024. A man was arrested and charged with first-degree murder in the case. A second suspect, now 18, was a juvenile at the time, but will be charged as an adult.
An immigration judge has ordered the release of a Brazilian woman with family ties to White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. 33-year-old Bruna Ferreira, detained by ICE last month. The former fiancé of Leavitt's brother was granted release on a $1,500 bond after the government did not argue she was a danger or flight risk.
FIFA President Gianni Infantino is facing ethics complaints over his public support for President Trump and the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize he awarded the president last week at the Kennedy Center. London-based nonprofit Fair Square claims Infantino breached FIFA's duty to remain politically neutral. The complaint could lead to a ban from soccer of up to 2 years.
A federal judge striking down President Trump's executive order blocking wind energy projects, calling it arbitrary and unlawful. The ruling favoring a coalition of 17 states, including Maryland, plus D.C., led by New York AG Letitia James, who argued the order jeopardized clean energy investments and economies.
And researchers have discovered more than 16,000 dinosaur footprints in Toro Toro, Bolivia, the largest set in the world. The footprints, including those of a T-Rex, offer clues about how dinosaurs moved and behaved.
Insane that they can still find this stuff in 2025.
Exactly.
All right, we'll see you back on Like It or Not at 7 o'clock.
This 6 begins right now.
Right now at 6, a Fox 5 exclusive. The daughter of a man shot and killed inside a Prince George's County nightclub, speaking only with Fox 5. Catherine Hoggle's future, now in the hands of a local judge. Is the Maryland mother competent to stand trial for the murder of her 2 children? And Virginia leaders say no to rolling the dice on a Tyson's Casino proposal. Why this debate is far from over. The 6 starts right now. And we start the 6 with the big story across the DMV. Temperatures falling to seriously low levels across the region. Some parts of our area seeing single-digit temps this morning.
It is cold. We are still sitting in the 30s right now. Can we expect, though, more of these conditions throughout the week, or is a warm-up underway? Let's get Caitlin Roth to join us, because, Caitlin, a lot of people want to know, is snow coming?
Yes.
Are we in for a warm-up?
Right.
Is this a cold tease?
Yeah, we're just blasting straight up to the North Pole from here on out, ladies. I know. Today was our coldest day we've had so far the past couple weeks, which have all been below normal.
The lead up to today.
Yes, since Thanksgiving, we have not had an above normal day. So it's been very cold. Tomorrow will be slightly better. I would not call it warm, but it will at least be well above freezing. That being said, the cold and the waves of it are going to continue straight through the rest of the week and into the weekend. Here's a look at your low temperatures this morning. Impressive. 20 degrees at Reagan. That was our coldest morning since last January. Only 13 at Dulles and 14 at BWI, and those wind chills were in the single digits. Live look outside right now at our Reston station camera. Dark, and commute is moving fine, but it is, a heat on high sort of evening in the car and at home. Those heating bills are really getting an early jump this season. 33 degrees. In D.C. Winds are out of the south at 15 miles an hour, so we have that wind chill in the low 20s. Area temperatures upper 20s to low 30s. Satellite and radar just showing a little bit of cloud cover overhead, so things are quiet tonight. We will actually be not as cold tonight. A warm front moves through, brings an increase in cloud cover, and so temperatures will kind of sit where they are, if not maybe rise a degree or 2. As a result, tomorrow's afternoon temperatures get into the 40s, but it still remains kind of a cloudy and chilly day with just a passing rain shower possible. 45 sounds nice, but the cold quickly returns by Friday. Highs are in the 30s with a chance of some snow. I'll have more on that coming up in my 7-day. Sharon?
Ellen, thank you. Remember, you can stay up to date with the latest forecast by downloading the Fox Local app. Scan the QR code right there on your screen, or visit fox5dc.com for more information. Fox Local, by the way, free for your phone and smart TV.
New at 6, the family of a man shot and killed by a private security officer at a Prince George's County nightclub. Speaking to just one station, Donald Wayne Hunt died late last night. And now we are learning more about his past and what led up to the deadly encounter. Fox 5's Shamari Stone is live in our newsroom with that exclusive Tonight show.
Angie, 50-year-old Donald Wayne Hunt's daughter is heartbroken and wants to know what exactly happened and led up to her father being killed at the Ebony Inn late last night. Prince George's County Police say the armed private security guard shot Hunt while interacting with a group of people possibly involved in the fight, including Hunt. Fox 5 can now confirm that Hunt was released from D.C. prison 2 years ago after being sentenced to 35 years behind bars in connection with an armed robbery and the shooting death of a 14-year-old girl in 1996. His daughter and a friend told me that he served his time, turned his life around, and they believe there was no reason to shoot and kill him at the club last night. Homicide detectives were in and out of the building all afternoon, at one point examining something up on the roof. How are you feeling tonight?
Empty. My emotions are all over the place. I don't know how to feel at the moment. I'm still processing this. I'm still digesting what it, just in disbelief.
Do you know what led up to this or what happened? Are you hearing anything? Have you talked to police?
I've heard different stories, but I don't know what actually happened. It was not there. I was not aware that he was even there.
Prince George's County Police are still investigating what happened. Police also say a second firearm was recovered from the scene that does not belong to the security guard. Police have not named the security guard and no charges have been filed.
Thank you, Sean. A man arrested for shooting outside of a D.C. nightclub that left 5 people hurt. 19-year-old Langston Wedge of Upper Marlboro now facing multiple charges, including aggravated assault while armed. The shooting happened early last month outside of the club along Bladensburg Road. We know that all 5 victims are expected to recover. Still no word, though, on what exactly prompted the attack.
And we have a news alert now. 1 person dead, another hurt. A suspect in custody after a shooting at Kentucky State University. It's not clear where the shooting actually happened, but video shows a group of police cars outside a set of dorms on the campus. The campus was on lockdown. Around 2,200 students attend the HBCU. Police are expected to give an update at a press conference this evening.
Well, the mother of a National Guardsman, Andrew Wolf, says his recovery is progressing. She says Wolf is now sitting up, moving, as well as interacting with medical staff and family. Wolf was one of 2 National Guard members shot near the White House last month. The other guardsman, Sarah Beckstrom, died. The suspected shooter, Ramanullah Lachenwal, has pleaded not guilty to several charges.
The Montgomery County Council introducing new legislation pushing back on the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. If passed, the Trust Act would prevent discrimination against immigrants in the county. It also limits how much the county will help with federal immigration enforcement and ensures people can access county resources regardless of their immigration status.
There's increased fear within the immigrant community that's driving many people away from community engagements and in some cases towards self-deportation.
Now through this codification, we're going to ensure that regardless of who our leadership is in Montgomery County, we will continue to treat immigrants with dignity, with respect, regardless of who is in control of the federal government at that particular time.
A public hearing on the Trust Act is scheduled for next month. The Montgomery County Council also appointing Shebra Evans to fill that at-large council seat vacated by Gabe Albernaz. Evans served 8 years on the Board of Education, twice as president. Her new role comes as Albernaz stepped down last week and was appointed director of the Recreation Department by County Executive Mark Elrich.
In the next hour, polls set to close in Fairfax County for a special election to fill an open seat on the Board of Supervisors there. 3 candidates running for the Braddock District seat, replacing James Walkinshaw, who recently took a seat in Congress. Democrat School Board member Rashna Sizemore-Heiser, Republican community leader Ken Balbuena, and independent veteran Kerry Campbell are all running. The district represents 29 precincts in the central part of the county. Polls again open until 7 o'clock.
To Fairfax County now, where leaders making it very clear they oppose a casino in Tysons. It's been a hotly debated issue for years, and now county leaders are taking a firm position. Our Homa Bash live in Tysons tonight with more details on what people are saying about this. Hey, Homa.
Sharon, good evening. This is where that proposed casino would go, right near the Spring Hill Metro stop. And today, Fairfax County Board of Supervisors voting 5-4 on legislation that basically says they do not want a casino here.
Tyson's is our economic engine. We have a lot of activity, economic activity already in Tyson's. We have very ambitious growth and development plans in Tyson's, and it's not the right place for a casino.
Now, this was the first time that the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors voted to include language in their state legislative program to oppose a casino in Tyson's publicly. The plan first came up in 2023. It would include an entertainment district with restaurants, hotel, and shopping. The casino would be roughly 200,000 square feet near the Spring Hill Silverline Metro. Those in favor of the plan have promised significant tax revenue and jobs, but there has been a very vocal group of Fairfax County residents, business owners, and community leaders who have opposed the casino. The Tyson's stakeholders Alliance telling Fox 5 they hope the concerns raised today and the clear opposition from the Tyson's community continue to shape the conversation in Richmond as policymakers consider any potential casino proposal.
What I have been concerned about from day one isn't necessarily whether we are for or against it. It is to make sure that the protections that residents of this county need are in the bill.
Yeah, I don't know. The traffic would be very bad.
My thoughts are that casino does not belong at Tyson's.
Why not?
Because they always say the casinos bring in more business to the local places, but the business is inside the casino as far as the food and stuff. The people around the casino don't benefit at all by a casino.
And the Virginia General Assembly session starts on January 14th. Right now, there is no casino legislation that has been reintroduced, but leaders believe that it will be. Guys?
Homa, thank you so much. Well, can Catherine Hoggle stand trial? A critical decision in front of a local judge 11 years after the disappearance of her two children, the latest from the court.
And a battle on Capitol Hill with health care costs potentially skyrocketing in the new year. We'll have those details at 6:30.
Maryland lawmakers returning to Annapolis early. Why Governor Moore is calling for a special session. Plus, here's what Tom Fitzgerald has coming up.
Is one of the major police departments in D.C. about to get supersized? I'm Tom Fitzgerald. We'll have that story coming up in a moment.
5 at K&G.
Maryland Governor Wes Moore and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy set to meet in the coming weeks to talk concerns over key transportation projects, including the Key Bridge rebuild. Now, back in September, Duffy sent a letter to Moore questioning the proposed Key Bridge budget, which is now estimated to be more than $5 billion. The estimated completion date of that bridge was recently pushed back to 2030. And the governor also calling for a special session. He signed an executive order today calling the General Assembly back to Annapolis on December 16th to select a new House Speaker. Comes after Speaker Adrienne Jones announced that she was stepping down. Lawmakers could consider other measures before the legislative session starts next month.
The Union for U.S. Park Police officers criticizing Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen and several of his Democratic colleagues. The lawmakers taking issue with the White House possibly increasing the number of officers.
Now, it's all a dispute over D.C. home rule. Fox 5's Tom Fitzgerald, he is at the Lincoln Memorial in Northwest with more for us tonight.
Well, you know, the Lincoln Memorial is perhaps one of the best known locations that the U.S. Park Police is in charge of policing, but it is far from the only one. U.S. Park Police is the lead department for major federal parklands across D.C. That means the National Mall, the parks throughout the district, also Rock Creek Park itself, and several of the federal highways in our area. In fact, it has jurisdiction over many areas throughout D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. The Park Police right now has about 400 officers, but reports now say that the Trump administration may go up to 800 by offering $70,000 signing bonuses for new recruits. If successful, it could transform the Park Police into a much larger department, which answers directly to President Trump himself. Eric Katz is a correspondent for the Government Executive News site.
So the Trump administration is looking to really leverage that police force to fulfill its priorities to have more federal presence in cities like D.C.
On Monday, U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen and several other Senate Democrats wrote to the Interior Secretary voicing alarm about efforts to increase the size of the U.S. Park Police, quoting that they are concerned about the agency imposing its will on the streets of D.C. But the Fraternal Order of Police, which represents U.S. Park Police officers, they disagree. They say they are dealing with increasing D.C. street crime. This issue also came up during a House hearing just days ago.
Lack of maintenance and public safety concerns have all compromised the public's ability to enjoy and take pride in the nation's capital.
Here in Washington, we have seen repeated assaults on home rule, overriding decisions made by local leaders.
Fox 5 did reach out to U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen for a comment on this. A spokesperson told us he wasn't available. Also, the U.S. Interior Department and the U.S. Park Police did not respond to our inquiries. Fox 5 at the Lincoln Memorial will send it back into you.
All right. Thank you, Fitz. And you saw, I mean, it was just a little bit, but a little bit of sunlight there behind him as the sun goes down. Saw more of it today. Also saw more of the cold.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I guess, 'tis the season as we take a live, gorgeous shot there of the Christmas trees lit up. I think that's kind of like the break from the cold is when you look outside and you see all the joy and the beauty. You're like, okay, can I tolerate this?
Right, you can when it's the festive season. What about after the holidays?
I know, that's what
I know, yeah. Well, I would say, I guess it lasts until January 6th. That is when,
that is
the Epiphany.
Yes.
So technically, you can leave all your Christmas decorations up if you want. But
okay, we got almost a month then. We can hang for a bit.
Or even through January, it's fine.
There's no rules. Well, that's true. There really aren't much. There are not many rules with the decorations. With the cold sustaining itself, I would be shocked if we kept going at this rate all the way to early January. But we are off to a roaring start here. First half of December going to go down as maybe one of our coldest first halves that we've had in a very, very long time. Meaning I don't even know. 75 years, 100. It's really at that level. For tomorrow, a little bit better. Temperatures are above freezing, and a warm front's going to bring in some clouds and a few rain showers. This will be snow for the mountains, though. Really going to be cold again, though, by Thursday as another Arctic blast enters the picture with some gusty winds and could even bring a few snow showers on Friday. So the trend is overall to stay very wintry here. When you look back on the past couple weeks, pretty remarkable. All this blue indicates high temperatures that were below normal all the way back to Thanksgiving, November 27th. And since then, we've only really leveled up the cold, including last Friday and yesterday, with temperatures over 15 degrees below normal. And I think next Monday, Tuesday might even be colder still. So impressive waves of Arctic air that have been unlocked to really kick off this meteorological winter. But not even real winter yet. We're still technically in fall. Temperatures right now, upper 20s to low 30s. Wind chills are teens to 20s. So very cold out there tonight. As you look at satellite and radar, not much happening locally. There's just a bit of a cloud cover increase to the south. But we do have this system out over the Twin Cities, bringing snow there. That'll drop through Chicago, eventually bring snow through parts of the Midwest, western Pennsylvania, and our mountain towns. But this is not going to bring us snow because, again, that warm front will be well north of us by tomorrow. So that will allow temperatures to just kind of be steady to rising overnight. Tomorrow is cloudy and chilly, although not as cold as today. Any precipitation we get will be rain showers. Snow stays well to our north and west as temperatures rise up into the 40s. So here's what it looks like on Futurecast. Not much going on. I mean, very passing few showers, especially off to the north. We could be completely dry in D.C. if this is right. So it's less about being a wet day tomorrow and more maybe a less cold day, although still chilly. There's the snow you can see along the Allegheny front. That'll continue tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night into early Thursday. And along with the snow, gusty winds, so that blizzard warnings have been issued for western Garrett County and parts of West Virginia along the Blue Ridge, where they're going to see that accumulation and those deteriorating conditions. But back home here, not going to be an issue. 45 degrees tomorrow. By Thursday, the sun's back, but it is really gusty with those wind chills in the 20s all day. High temperature of 40. Extended outlook, because I know everyone wants to know, well, how long is this cold going to last? Truthfully, for at least another week, it looks like, as below normal temperatures continue through the 10-day. There are signs that the temperatures may moderate and the pattern maybe relaxes a bit as we head towards Christmas, but haven't seen anything too concrete just quite yet. And Christmas, of course, quickly approaching right after the winter solstice, which is in 12 days. We have the holiday in 16 days and then 23 days till New Year's. So already I feel like December just began, but then again, so did the fall and so did the year. There's your 7-day. I want to point out both Friday and Sunday offer a chance of snow. These are weak clipper systems that would bring very light accumulations, if any. Both of them have potential, but don't look to be too disruptive. We'll be watching that closely as we go through the rest of the week. Back over to you.
All right, Caitlin, thanks. A new tool can help people in Montgomery County check if they're in a flood-prone area. The county's Flood Risk Explorer identities at-risk communities, starting with neighborhoods like Sligo Creek. The tool is available for free on the county website. Meanwhile, a new regional study warns that the DMV could face water shortages as early as 2030 if severe drought hits. That could happen when demand becomes too high to keep enough water flowing in the Potomac. The report also shows that while overall water use in the region has remained largely stable for decades, demand will rise in the coming years.
New documents in the Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell investigation set to be released. The reason why.
And automated trains could soon operate at the entire metro system. The new proposal coming out.
Secretary Pete Hegseth briefing top congressional leaders today on recent airstrikes against suspected drug boats. The closed-door meeting comes after footage was released of one attack where 2 survivors were killed after an initial strike in the Caribbean back in September. Now, President Trump says the decision to release the full video is now up to Hegseth.
I would predict this evidence will shock the conscience of America. It will shock America's conscience if it becomes public.
Just let people see it. Everybody can make their own decision.
Well, lawmakers added a provision to their defense spending bill that would limit Hegseth's travel budget if he fails to provide the footage to Congress.
The Justice Department is challenging a court order, which could make it harder to get a new indictment against former FBI Director James Comey. Over the weekend, a federal judge temporarily barred the DOJ from accessing computer files from a friend of Comey's, who prosecutors claim is a central part of this case. Prosecutors claim the judge went too far. Comey was indicted earlier this year for lying to Congress. The case was dismissed after a judge ruled the prosecutor who brought the case was unlawfully appointed. Today, a federal judge allowing the Justice Department to publicly release grand jury testimony in the case against convicted sex offender Ghislaine Maxwell. The court's hand is being forced by a law passed last month requiring the government to open its files on Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell. The judge is warning, though, to the public to temper their expectations because there's not much more to learn in these newly unsealed docs.
We are hearing from Jaden Daniels for the first time since his latest injury, the event he held for kids in our region. Also, here's what Bob Barnard has coming up.
The judge overseeing the competency hearing of a Maryland mother accused of murdering her 2 young children 11 years ago says he will decide whether Catherine Hoggle is competent to stand trial tomorrow. I'm Bob Barnard, the very latest from Rockville, when Fox 5 comes right back.
Authorities in South Carolina confiscating marijuana, crab legs, and steak dropped into a prison by a drone. A prison guard at the Lee Correctional Facility finding the package after it was dropped inside the prison yard. Along with the food, though, the delivery did contain a carton of cigarettes and, of course, some Old Bay seasoning. The drone has also been confiscated, by the way. No arrests were made. Listen, contraband, smuggling and drugs, like that's bad. But having crabs without Old Bay, that's a crime. Okay, so at least they got standards.
If you're going to go to these lengths together, just put it all. What else do you want, right? Old Bay seasoning. I mean, people have to get creative, and this is creative.
I mean, that sounded like it was going to be a great night.
Or a really bad one. All right, Ange, thank you so much. Let's get to some more headlines. Right now at 6:30, the future of the Katherine Hochul murder trial in limbo. A key hearing more than a decade after the disappearance of her 2 kids. What's next? Then, Metro pushing to get a fully automated fleet of trains on the tracks. We've got those details. And a Commander star gives back. Jaden Daniels giving away bikes to local kids. We'll hear from them. Welcome to the 5 at 6:30. Thanks for sticking with us. Let's talk about the forecast. It was a frigid day all across the DMV. So the big question is, are we expected to see rain, snow, sleet? What's in store? Our friend Gwen Talbert here. Gwen, great to see you.
You're just choosing all these things that are on my weather buffet.
Is it? Okay. In what order then?
No, not really quite that bad.
Okay, good.
The cold weather is sticking around, however. Tomorrow will be just a little bit warmer. It's going to end up being the warmest day of the week in the 40s, believe it or not. And that is even below the seasonal average. But what's happening? Well, a few passing showers in my forecast for hump day on that warmth. But I'm not talking any snow and I'm not talking any sleet at least, right? So that's at least a good thing. But the cold is going nowhere. So right now it is a chilly 33 degrees. Camera's shaking a little bit. Got a little bit of a breeze out there from the south at about 15 miles an hour, but it feels like it's only in the 20s. We've got wind chills. Here's a look at the highs today at all 3 airports, all in the low 30s. Average high is 50 degrees. Couldn't get anywhere near that if we tried. It's 28 at Martinsburg this hour, 27 at Winchester, 31 at Westminster, 33 at Annapolis, and 31 at Leonardtown. And the feel like into the teens and the 20s in our neighborhood. So if you're heading out, maybe to go out for dinner or whatever tonight, layer it up a little bit. You want to get that heavy coat out and stay warm. Well, a few clouds, not a whole lot to speak about this hour, but keeping an eye on a system that's well out to our west. This frontal system is going to move its way towards us. You can see it's got a lot of precipitation with it. We're looking at that mountainous area getting most of that. They'll see some snow from it. We, on the other hand, are only looking at a few passing showers as we get through into tomorrow. Not too much to be too concerned with at all. Things will change, however, as always, on that 7-day forecast. I'll have that in a bit. Shirin?
All right, Gwen, thanks. A Montgomery County judge set to decide the fate of the murder case against a Maryland mother. Tomorrow, Katherine Hochul is charged in the disappearance of her 2 young children. It's a case Fox 5 has profiled many times over the past decade. Bob Barnard is in Rockville tonight with more.
This 2-day competency hearing wrapped up late this afternoon with Montgomery County State's Attorney John McCarthy leading the prosecution's efforts. And we did just learn that we'll find out whether Katherine Hochul goes to trial on these murder charges sometime tomorrow afternoon.
This is Montgomery County Circuit Court Judge James Bonifant. He will be deciding whether Katherine Hochul is competent to stand trial for the murders of her 2 young children, Sarah and Jacob, 11 years ago. Judge Bonifant will make that ruling based on the testimony of 2 forensic psychiatrists with differing opinions on Hochul's mental well-being. Katherine Hochul suffers from schizophrenia, but according to the prosecution witness, currently shows no signs of psychotic behavior and would be capable of assisting in her defense at trial.
The former director of Clifton T. Perkins Hospital Center says the woman accused of murdering my babies is competent to stand trial. So we're very hopeful the court will listen to her expert opinion and we can finally get justice for my kids.
The court's expert witness testified otherwise. Judge Bonifant will also be listening to dozens of recorded phone calls between Katherine Hochul and her mother and separately with her father from jail this fall. Some were played in open court. In them, Katherine talks coherently about her legal predicament. The judge must also read through scores of text messages between Catherine and the wife of the missing children's father, Troy Turner. Catherine wanting to know information about her oldest child who lives with them. Hoggle repeatedly asked what happened to Sarah and Jacob, never giving an answer.
Catherine was at the jail for 96 days, so if she had even 50 texts a day, probably more than that, sitting in a 9 by 12 foot cell with nothing to do, it's to me, that's not uncommon.
In one text message between Catherine and her mother shared in court, Hoggle wrote, "My secret for navigating my many different environments is I'm a chameleon. Psych." Whether she's competent to stand trial or not, Catherine Hoggle has been consistent in one way, never revealing what happened to her two children back in September of 2014. Sarah, age 3, and Jacob, 2 years old, disappeared on separate outings over the span of several hours, having last been in their mother's care.
Again, Judge Bonavent says he will issue his ruling here at 1:30 tomorrow, which will decide whether Catherine Hoggle finally goes on trial for murder. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
In Fairfax, a man arrested after allegedly trying to rob a bank in Fair Lakes. Nicholas Rodriguez is charged with attempted robbery. Police say that he went into a Chase Bank in the Fair Lakes shopping center, handed the teller a note demanding money. No weapon was used. No one was hurt. Rodriguez turned himself into police when they got unseen. A California man has pleaded guilty to stealing more than $50,000 worth of rare Pokemon cards. Police say Mohammed Asif broke into his friend's Fair Oaks home earlier this year, stole the cards. Police believe that the theft may also be related to an armed robbery that happened in Tysons the same day. Asif will be sentenced in March. Commander star Jayden Daniels gives back this holiday season. The special event he held today after this Fox 5 breakthrough. Just days after re-injuring his left elbow, Commanders quarterback Jayden Daniels was out serving the community. He partnered with Raising Cane's to host a bike giveaway today at East Hall and Union Station. All the bikes and helmets were donated to the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Washington.
Community outreach, the youth, giving back to the youth. You know, we just did a turkey drive, you know, with the partner with the Commander. So each and every year, we just go out there and try to do some more.
You see the kids with smiles when they're facing a safe environment and just being part of the Redskins team and Joe Daniels and just having a wonderful time for the holidays.
Last year, Canes gifted a total of 2,500 bikes. Commanders defensive end Jake Martin fully sponsoring pet vaccines at the Humane Rescue Alliance today in Northwest. Martin's initiative, 55 drive advocates for big dogs to get rabies vaccines. He has 3 dogs and says he understands how challenging that can be. Martin praised the work of the people at the HRA and anyone who takes care of dogs. The Washington Capitals are launching a new street hockey league. The co-ed league will let kids play at street hockey rinks. They don't need any prior experience or equipment to join. Registration costs vary by location, but start around $150. The league will play at Reston and Alexandria and in Virginia and Germantown in Maryland. Stay with us when we come back. Tense moments at a local meeting. Protesters speaking out against a multi-million-dollar project, what they're claiming, and new details on when commercial flights could come to the Manassas airport next.
FOX.
A construction company reaching a $1.5 million settlement with the district to resolve claims of wage theft. Attorney General Schwab accused Brothers Mechanical, which worked on several D.C. developments, of misclassifying hundreds of workers, depriving them of wages and benefits. The company is now paying $500,000 to the workers, along with $1 million in penalties, and must change its practices.
The circus has got to stop. The circus has got to stop. This charade that Washington Gas and PSC are playing, fooling us into thinking
grab your belongings and come with me.
Protesters interrupting a public service commission hearing in D.C. They spoke out against a proposed $215 million Washington Gas pipe replacement plan. They claim it will raise rates. Washington Gas says the improvements are necessary for a reliable energy system. A concerning report from GoFundMe. More people are turning to the crowdfunding platform to cover the cost of essentials. That's according to the company's Year in Help report. It says that the number of fundraisers for things like food and rent jumped 20%. This follows an even larger jump last year. Food banks also saw a spike in donations earlier this year when SNAP benefits were cut off during the government shutdown. On Capitol Hill, health care is front and center this week with Affordable Care Act subsidies set to expire by the end of the month. The COVID-era tax breaks have kept insurance premiums low. Democrats want a 3-year extension. Republicans want to come up with a new plan. GOP lawmakers have floated several proposals, including expanding health savings accounts, but not everyone is on board.
We don't have one yet, but we're going to get one very soon. In our conference meeting, we were imploring the leadership to make sure that there is one cohesive plan that we can all get behind.
Thursday, the Senate will vote on the Democrats' plan, which will likely fail without Republican support. Still ahead, a major update on bringing commercial flights to the Manassas airport, how soon the plan could take flight, plus a record executive grilled in the David Celeste Rivas investigation. TMZ joins us live with more on that case. But first, Gwen.
Well, pretty cold night ahead. Temperatures into the 30s, but we've got wind chills. It feels like it's only in the teens and the 20s. Bundle up. We've got some changes, as always, coming up on that 7-day forecast and a little bit of a warm-up tomorrow. I'll have the details after the break. Stay with us.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
WMATA set to move forward with plans to fully automate its trains. The new self-driving system is part of a modernization plan set to be revealed this Thursday. It's part of an estimated $5 billion upgrade. The report says it would reduce costs by $13 million per year. Automation will start on individual corridors, could begin on the red line in the new fiscal year. You could soon be able to fly out of another airport in our area. Commercial flights set to come to Manassas Regional Airport in 2027. Tonight, we're getting our first look at what the passenger terminal could look like. Artisha Lewis joins us from Manassas.
We've been covering this closely. We're here inside Manassas Regional Airport, and these new details emerging at last night's Manassas City Council meeting. We have learned that these new commercial flights could include low-cost direct flights to eastern and southern regions, including the Sunshine State.
These would be direct flights. The airlines that we're talking to are all airlines that are low-cost, ultra-low-cost airlines, and their model basically is to fly direct into smaller airports like Manassas to avoid the hub system.
There you go. Meanwhile, Fox 5 obtained these renderings showing what the expanded Manassas Regional Airport could look like once commercial flights are added. Airport Director Juan Rivera going on to say destinations could include Florida, Myrtle Beach, Savannah, and New York. He says the airport is teaming with airport operator Avports to make expansion plans come to fruition. We're told Avports is managing the major commercial expansion, including reportedly fronting the cost of a new terminal, gates, and renovating the airport's existing terminal. Fox 5 has learned this will all take place in phases. We spoke with a potential future traveler.
I think it's great for Chantilly, like Manassas communities.
So far, the airport has undergone several FAA inspections. Right now, negotiations are underway with several airlines. In fact, Fox 5 has learned that Manassas Regional Airport may waive landing fees for the airlines the first couple years to attract more business.
Another airport. Tisha Lewis, thank you. Turning to the weather outside. Gorgeous shot of the White House. You can see that flag is blowing. And if you look closely inside the White House, you can see a number of Christmas trees decorated inside there. They don't just have one. They have,
I'm sure.
They have a host of them. I saw Melania Trump, the First Lady, kind of walking through and showing this showcase. But listen, this is the time of year we're all bundled up. The holiday lights are awaiting us for the weekend. But can we enjoy them? I mean, how cold are we talking?
You're just going to have to do layers and just bundle up. It is going to be cold. You know, we expect it this time of year, though, and you just have to prepare yourself.
We're below average, though.
We are below average.
Right.
We can't even make it to average if we wanted to, I don't think. You know, I mean, that cold air sticking around. That's my unwanted house guests, as I always call them. So we have a lot of things happening for this week. So let's start out with clouds and rain showers on Wednesday. But I'm talking very light scattered rain showers. Nothing that's a washout by any means at all. We might see pretty much next to nothing, to be honest. And then cold and gusty on Thursday. Bundle up. We've got wind chills already today, so Thursday is going to be even worse with those wind chills with colder air. And then passing snow showers on Friday, question mark, question mark, question mark. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the days when we possibly could get a passing flurry or a snow shower. Still some variables that are leaving some question marks in this forecast, but we're watching it closely for you. In the meantime, 33 degrees this hour, and that's exactly what we reach for a daytime high today. Winds from the south at 15 miles an hour, but look at the feel like. 23 cold degrees is our wind chill value. It's 27 at Winchester, 29 at Hagerstown this hour, 28 at Martinsburg, 31 at Quantico and Fredericksburg. We've got 33 at Annapolis and 31 at Westminster. That's the same for Baltimore, but here's what it feels like if you're stepping outside. So this is what you have to dress for, okay? 19 at Hagerstown, 19 at Dulles, 18 at Winchester, 21 at Quantico, 27 at Annapolis, and 23 in the city. So it is definitely the cold winter, a chill of December. A few clouds across the area on our satellite radar composite, but we've got a lot of action well out to the west of us, and this is associated with a frontal system, and that's going to move its way towards us, and you can see it's bringing some snow into parts of the Great Lakes. It'll head that way as well across parts of Michigan and Illinois getting affected by it, but we are looking at seeing most of that action staying well to the north of us and across the west. So looking at some snow that'll be accumulating for Allegheny Front, Blue Ridge, West Virginia Panhandle, and then for us, maybe just a passing rain shower. And actually our Futurecast model doesn't bring us hardly anything at all. But tomorrow will be the warmest day of the week with temperatures into the 40s. We have a warm front to the north of us. But once that cold front passes, a really enforcing shot of colder air will settle in, and we're going to see a real big drop in our temperatures. So let's time this out for you. Here we are, 8 o'clock in the morning, not much happening. West Virginia Panhandle seeing some of that mix and snow. And then you can see all that winter precipitation hanging here to the west. For us, really nothing. We had a little bit of a passing shower come through, and that's about it. Look at this, right to the north of the I-70 corridor, seeing some, but here's where the snow is accumulating out to the west and where it's going to stay. And because of that, they are currently under a couple of weather alerts. Blizzard warning in effect until Thursday at 10 a.m. and a winter weather advisory as well. Now, they're looking at blowing snow through here. Visibility certainly will be a big issue, as well as accumulating snow. Not for us, however. We're at colder air will stay in place. We're going to continue to see it right through into the week. Don't expect much of a warm up at all. And here is a look at your planner for tomorrow. Mainly some cloudy skies. Temperatures will go into the 40s, as I said, warmest day of the week, and then we start cooling down. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's where we're talking about maybe a chance of seeing a little bit of that winter weather. We've got our eyes on it for you. Sharon?
All right, Gwen, thanks. The trial date for the case between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has been postponed. The trial, originally scheduled to begin in March of next year, has been pushed back to May. This is because the judge overseeing the case has 2 criminal trials scheduled for the same month. Last year, Lively sued her. It ends with us co-star alleging sexual harassment and retaliation. Let's get to TMZ. A record executive grilled in front of a grand jury in the David Celeste Rivas investigation. Plus, Timothy Chalamet and Kylie Jenner, they put up an end to recent breakup rumors with some pictures we're seeing through TMZ. TMZ all over these stories. Charles Ledeboudier joining me. Charles, great to see you.
Good to see you too, Sharon.
Let's start with David. This homicide case is really convoluted. What exactly happened, the timeline of what happened, and who's being questioned right now?
So it is very clear that police, as we told you last month, that LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division is looking at David as a suspect. And there is a grand jury convened right now in downtown LA as we speak. And they are, we know that on Monday, one of the people they grilled for much of the day is the general manager of David's record label, as well as he's also the head of the tour company that operates David's tours. He spent several hours in front of the grand jury. When he walked out of the grand jury room, he was in this hallway, and there were about half a dozen other people around, and he was talking to his lawyer, and we're told he's talking to his lawyer in a voice loud enough for others around to hear. And what he said to his lawyer is that she, meaning the deputy DA, grilled me about not calling the police, about why I didn't call police. We don't know what he had said to the grand jury before that led to that follow-up question, but that certainly is interesting. And then he also told his lawyers that his response to the deputy DA was, I didn't feel that was my responsibility, and I just wanted to continue with the tour. Wow. Keep in mind that David was on tour back in early September when Celeste Rivas' body was found in his car. Right. So it certainly seems like that's what the tour that they're talking about. We don't know that for a fact. Right. Obviously, grand jury testimony is kept secret. We only know about this because he was very openly talking about it with his attorney in this hallway. So seems they're focused in on David very clearly.
Yeah. Walk me through, as far as Celeste, who was she to David?
You know, I mean, we've spoken to people who said that they presented as boyfriend and girlfriend. We don't know that for sure. And of course, as soon as you say that, that raises a whole other layer to this case, which is that Celeste Rivas was underage. She was 13 most of the time that they knew each other, and then 14 later on. But it's very uncomfortable, a very uncomfortable topic, clearly. Yeah. But there are people who said that they presented as boyfriend and girlfriend. We don't know that for a fact.
Very disturbing all the way around. More details to come, I'm sure. Switching gears here, let's talk about Timothy Chalamet, Kylie Jenner. We saw these pictures of them donning orange, looking very cuddly and cute. So they haven't broken up. That's for sure.
They have not, and you know, we've seen this before. I think, look, every time that they are not seen together for like a week, everyone goes, "Oh, they're broken up. They're broken up." I think this was probably done intentionally on their part to create that buzz, and then they show up at his movie premiere and get a lot more attention. Also, wearing the matching orange outfits was a choice that a lot of people are talking about. But yes, they're very clearly together and very happily together. So this is going to be a big, big movie for him. And so having her actually walk into the premiere with him, which is something they don't typically do. I think only one other time they've been at one of his premieres together. So
it's so interesting because I feel like we know so much about, you know, the Kardashians' lives, and yet they're so private and so mysterious about the relationship.
They save it all for their show.
Right.
They save it all for their show.
That's what
Anything
I feel
they're going to reveal, they only do it on their show, which Kris Jenner has trained them well.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a publicity ploy. Have any of them said anything online to fans kind of coming out and saying anything today?
No response. I think they'll play it quiet. I got to tell you, there was a lot of buzz about this movie. Separate from that premiere last night, there was a pop-up event where they were selling merch from the movie, and people flooded the streets. They had to call out the police. People were buying these jackets and then reselling them for like $1,500. Wow. There's Timothy's going to get a lot of attention for this one. We'll see if it leads to that elusive Oscar that he so much wants.
Around Timothy Chalamet and the Kardashians is a lot. So we'll see how this kind of pans out. And we'll see what more on the show, if anything, comes of this. All right,
Indeed.
Charles, thank you so much. Much more, of course, on TMZ at 7:30. Right after Like It or Not, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Vehicles.
Well, we thank you for sticking with us here at 6:30, but the fun continues on Like It or Not. Hey, Jim.
Do you have any idea how many unread text messages you have on your phone right now?
Oh, it's embarrassing. It's a lot. Like probably in the hundreds.
I'm at 247 right now.
Okay. I'm probably similar to you.
So here's the question. Leaving people on read, and I have to point out, that's not because I'm leaving people on read. It's because I open some text on my iPad, some on my phone. Apple still hasn't finessed that. But leaving people on read, what do you think about that? Go to fox5dc.com/lion, cast your vote. I think sometimes people have to understand you should not be accessible to everybody. You are entitled to some personal time.
You know, sometimes it's hard because you'll check a text, maybe even mid-show or something, but then you can't respond.
Yep.
And then you forget to respond.
Happens all the time.
Yeah. All right, Jim, thanks.